You ever wonder what really separates a good fictional world from a truly great one? It's almost always the small things, right? The little details that make you feel like you're in a real, living culture. Well, today we're going to break down the secret. And here's a hint. It's not about designing objects. It's about designing systems.
I mean, that's the big question for any creator, isn't it? If you're writing a book, or designing a video game, or just building a world for yourself, how do you give it that texture, that feeling that it has a real history, that it's authentic?
And the secret? It's not just piling on a bunch of cool-looking stuff. No, the key to making a world believable is building it on a foundation of internal logic. You gotta have a consistent set of rules that governs everything. You're not just designing things. You're designing the entire system they belong to.
Okay, so let's get into it. To really prove this idea, we're going to focus on just one single object from a fictional world, a pretty simple ceremonial hat. And you're going to see how this one item can unpack an entire culture's belief system. This right here is our guiding philosophy. Rule number 1. In a really well-built world, nothing is there just for decoration. Every single element, every choice has a reason to exist. It's all about meaning, not just about looking cool. All right, let's meet our main example. This is the Qha'rruven. It's the ceremonial temple hat worn by the adult men in this culture. Now, think of this as our blueprint, okay? It's the archetype we're going to use to understand the whole system.
And the world's logic, it starts right here, in the language itself. The name literally tells a story. You've got Qha'la for the sacred flame, Ru for lineage, and Ven for vessel. So it's not some random fantasy word. It's a linguistic puzzle piece that fits perfectly into the culture. Now, the design itself, it's actually elegantly simple. It's built from just these 3 core parts, but each one isn't just a shape, it's a symbol that carries a specific piece of the cultural story. Let's break them down. So that peak at the front, the tri-flame crest, it represents the culture's most important spiritual beliefs. It's not just a pointy bit on a hat. It's a constant, wearable reminder of the 3 fires that are supposed to guide your life: action, heart, and destiny. So you see what's happening here? The crest symbolizes action and destiny. The woven band, that's all about the continuity of your family, your lineage. And that simple drake at the back, that represents humility. The whole hat is basically a story you can wear. Nothing is wasted. Okay, so we get the object now. Let's zoom out and look at the bigger system it fits into. See, a believable world has these aesthetic laws that govern everything. This hat doesn't just exist in a vacuum. It's playing by a larger set of rules. First up, the color palette is super strict and clearly defined. Every color has a symbolic job to do. You don't just use, green because it looks nice. You use navy to specifically signal tradition, or you use violet to signal spirit. It's a visual language that reinforces meaning everywhere you look. And the same logic applies to what things are made of. The material instantly tells you about the status and role of the person wearing it. So standard folks wear midnight navy linen. The high temple members, they get deep indigo silk. And then you have the top-tier priests, who get to wear this rare, almost magical opal glow thread. It's a whole social structure, visible at a glance. And now for the really fun part. We have the rules of the system, right? So let's test them. We're going to zoom right in on a specific version of the hat, the one given to young boys when they're initiated, and we're going to see if that design logic actually holds up. First thing, let's look at the name. Just like the adult version, the boy's hat has a meaningful name built from the exact same linguistic blocks. It's not some totally new word, it's a logical tweak. The little vessel of first duty. You see, the system is already holding up. And this slide? This is where it all clicks. Just look at the 2 columns. Every single element of the boy's hat on the right is a logical, scaled-down version of the adult hat on the left. The powerful tri-flame crest becomes a humble, simple glyph. The complex double braid, a simple single weave. And the symbolism shifts from mastery and lineage to potential and first duty. It all follows the rules. It just makes sense. A boy gets this hat at age 11. Now, why 11? Because in this culture, that's not just some random number. It marks the first responsibility rite, a huge milestone where a kid takes on their first real duties in the community. So the object is tied directly to a life-changing moment, and that gives it real weight. The design choices are just so deeply symbolic of a child's place in this society.
It's all about becoming something, not already being something. That hat doesn't give him authority. It signifies the start of his journey, the very first thread he gets to weave into the fabric of his community. So after that deep dive into a fictional hat, what have we actually learned? Let's zoom all the way back out and talk about the universal takeaway from this whole exercise, something you can apply to pretty much any creative project you're working on. This is it. This is the secret sauce. When every element, from the language and the colors to the shapes and materials, is part of a larger, coherent system, the world starts to feel real. It feels like it was there long before you showed up and that it'll be there long after you leave. And that, right there, is the huge difference. One approach is just throwing a bunch of cool but random things together, and it just feels cluttered and meaningless. The other is a world built on a foundation of rules, where every single design choice has a real purpose. That's what feels authentic. That's what feels lived in. So next time you're watching a movie or playing a game, I want you to look for the hats. You know, those small details that are clearly governed by a much larger system. And I'll leave you with a question to chew on. What's the most clever, well-designed little detail you've ever noticed in a fictional world but you absolutely love?